Every civilization has got a history which goes back to thousands of years. But for the purpose of astrological analysis, normally we take the date of independence or the date of inception of the country. So for Israel, we will start from the 14th of the May 1948. When you look at the chart of Israel of 14 May 1948, you will notice one thing very peculiar in this chart. That is, for a Virgo ascendant, you have got Ketu on one side and the Mars on another side. That is, in astrology, Vedic astrology, it is known as Pap Kartari Yoga. A Pap Kartari Yoga forms when any bhava, any house, is basically surrounded by two malefic planets. That is, in this case, in Leo, we can see Mars placed, and in Libra, you got Ketu over here. So ascendant is getting crunched from both the sides. One side Mars and one side Ketu. And both are violent planets. And in astrology, Ketu also gives effects like Mars. So we can say that the ascendant of Israel is getting crunched or getting pressed from both the sides by Mars. And Ketu being a Rakshasa planet or a evil planet, or you can say कि, a planet which bifurcates or dissociates it from the near and dear one. It is more lethal than Mars. For any native, when the ascendant is in Pap Kartari Yoga, he will go through lot of troubles throughout his life. It's a natal position. So whatever we are seeing over here, whatever the problems are not temporary problems. It will remain till the time Kundli remains the same. That is, the birth of Israel happened at a time when there was a Pap Kartari Yoga, and he will have to go through this Pap Kartari Yoga throughout its lifetime. Unless and until, of course, they change the geography majorly and recreate or rename the country. There are different ways to manipulate that. There is a new nation which is formed, so there will be new horoscope for that. But right now, what was formed on 1948 is severely infected by two malefics on two sides of ascendant. So this problem of war and the getting opposition from the Islamic forces or the terrorist forces will continue for a very, very, very long time. And that is what we will see through all the Mahadashas since its inception in 1948. That is what is happening with it. The second most important part over here to notice is Rahu is in 8th house. 8th house Rahu is not bad per se. But over here Rahu is in Aries. That is again Mars sign. And the Aries Mars, Lord of the Aries Mars, is placed in 12th house. So that is kind of good combination. 8th house Lord placed in 12th house, or 6th house Lord placed in 8th house, or 8th house Lord placed in 6th house is considered to be good. But 8th house Rahu gives a person very sharp brain, research oriented brain, but continuous transformation because of the research or because of the dynamic aggressive plannings. The continuously the person goes through a modification of his lifestyle, his behavior, his eating habits, his behavioral patterns, and there is a it's a continuous process because it's a part of the natal chart. So what Israel will be or any individual will be going through is, after every Mahadasha or after every circle of Rahu Ketu completes, it will go through transformation. Another important point to note over here is that ascendant, though it is Virgo, it is at 29 degree 54 minutes. That is on the boundary of Virgo and Libra. So whenever any planet or ascendant is on 29 degree or 0 degree or 1 degree or 2 degree on a boundary condition, 2 3 degree plus minus 2 the end of the one Rashi and going into another Rashi, then it will be a cuspal degree, and cuspal degree means two things. One, if the birth time is wrong or birth time changes by 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, the whole calculation or whole prediction process changes. Everything goes wrong because we were calculating all the planetary positions, bhavas, everything according to Virgo ascendant, and if it is say 10 minutes later than the birth time what we had taken for the Israel, then it will be a Libra ascendant. Then the whole thing changes. But because of the Pap Kartari Yoga clearly seen for a Virgo ascendant, I am sure this time is correct. But still, to be safe, when the conditions like this arise in any horoscope, I check the Chalit chart also. Chalit chart is nothing but degree wise position from the ascendant. So even if ascendant is on say 29 degree or 1 degree in Chalit chart, you know more or less the positions of all the planets from degree wise from that ascendant. So over here, though we will be predicting according to the Virgo ascendant, we will be also keeping an eye on Chalit chart where the other planets are placed. Because when you are looking at Mahadasha and what it is ruling, then you have to look at the Lagna chart. But when you are looking at Antardasha, you have to see clearly the position of the Antardasha planet where it is placed in Chalit chart. So both the things, Lagna chart and Chalit chart becomes important. Israel was born into in Saturn Mahadasha, Moon Antardasha. Moon is placed in Cancer sign in 11th house. That is good. 11th house is always good. But it is placed with Saturn. So Saturn Moon combination, that means there will be always mental pressure. The people ruling the country will be always under the pressure. So what we have got? A Pap Kartari Yoga, making sure that it is crunch, it is surrounded by the enemies. Rahu in the 8th house makes it fantastic scientifically, mathematics and science become their core principles. But in the Mars sign and Mars in the 12th house. So that means continuous transformations and the violent transformations. Third thing, it was born in Saturn Mahadasha in Moon Antardasha, which is a wish yoga. So again challenges. This chart clearly shows Israel will be always under challenges. There will be always some sort of severe challenge they will be facing, and they will be facing successfully. Why? Because the Lagna Lord is placed in the ninth house in Bhavchalit chart as well as in Lagna chart. Second thing, we have got 11th house which is very strong. Moon in Cancer placed in the 11th house in its own sign. Then the Saturn is 6th house and the 5th house lord, which is again placed in 11th house. So, though they will be tremendously under mental pressure always, 11th house gives that the final solution will be according to their wishes because the 11th house is of the wish fulfillment. That is the general nature of this chart. Wars, research, science, and the wish fulfillment. 14 May 1948, as soon as the Israel got independent, it has to face war. That was 15 May 1948 to January 1949, first Arab-Israeli war. Israel survives invasion by Arabs and borders are established. It takes over the part of the invading armies. It's a Saturn Mahadasha going on and the moon Antardasha. So moon is in its own sign in 11th house and Saturn is also in 11th house. So people attacked the country or the neighboring nations attacked the country and Israel took the part of their countries only. That is going to be a routine feature in their life. Okay, people attack them and they will take the land. Saturn Mahadasha was a very productive period for them. It lasted till 1956. In 1956, at the end of Saturn Mahadasha, The Suez Crisis or Sinai War started. Israel attacks Egypt with UK and France after the canal nationalization. Egypt, though it lost the Arab Israeli war, it was trying to control the area and squeeze Israel through controlling the Suez Canal. But Israel attacked back and took over the part on their side till the Suez Canal, where after mediation, Israel had to leave the conquered area, but the Egypt had to accept a defeat and accept a peace proposal from Israel. But over here, the important part to notice is Saturn Mahadasha, when it was ending, it created a new war. Their scientific achievements or scientific journey began in the Mercury Mahadasha. They had to again face the war. In 67, in the Rahu Antardasha of Mercury Mahadasha, there was a 6 day war. Israel captures Gaza, West Bank, Sinai, Golan Heights. Again, they captured some land. So, how did that happen? Because Rahu is sitting in 8th house, it has to transform the boundaries. It has to transform the nation in certain way. So, it attacked, it got attacked, and it captured the land. That was in Rahu Antardasha of the Mercury Mahadasha. After that, war of attrition with Egypt continues fighting around the Suez Canal in 1969 to 70. So, because of the Pap Kartri Yoga, there will be always an attempt to pull down Israel. Lagna Lord is active because of the Mercury Mahadasha, and Lagna is in Pap Kartri Yoga. So, initially the other three states attacked. Now the Egypt, there was a war with Egypt in Suez Canal, and immediately after that in 1972, that is the fag end of the Mercury Mahadasha, there was Munich massacre. In 1973, at the end of the Mercury Mahadasha and the beginning of Ketu Antardasha, they were again attacked. Ketu is part of malefic planet which is creating Pap Kartari Yoga. So the Egypt and the Syria, they attacked Israel from both the sides. They got defeated is different thing. But Pap Kartari Yoga works like this. Though Ketu Mahadasha started with a war, this was a period where Israel became the dominant power. Because this is the third time it was defeating the combined forces of the neighboring countries. Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, all attacked and all got defeated. Continuous defeats made Egypt and the Syria, Lebanon helpless. That means they have to go for a treaty where the Camp David Accord was signed in 1978. Israel's power and authority was totally established. After Camp David Accord, the myth about Israel's power and where it can defeat all the Islamic State forces became prevalent. So Egypt and Israel signed a peace treaty in 1979. After Camp David Accord, there was a 1979 peace treaty. That again happened in Ketu Mahadasha. When the Venus Mahadasha started, Israel was already in a dominant position. They have subdued Egypt, they have subdued Lebanon. So now they were secure from the neighbors. But they were now aware that the other GCC countries or other Muslim nations, they might attack them. This is the phase when Iran was already taken over by Islamic regime. They were already declaring America and Israel as an enemy and Satan. So they want to finish off Israel. So what Israel does? 20 years of Venus Mahadasha, wherever he finds threat, he goes and destroys it. Venus is in 10th house, and Venus is second lord and 7th house lord. Both are marka places, but it is in 10th house. So it was very alert. It was taking initiative. 10th house is of the go-getter achievements. So in 1981, Iraq, when they were started building up their nuclear weapons or nuclear reactors, Israel went there and bombed them. Lebanon war, Operation Peace for Galilee. Proactively, Israel is attacking now these 20 years. Israel airstrikes PL headquarters in Tunisia. So when they started attacking outside, all these nations who were planning to again attack Israel, or Israel's security services, when they were trying to tell them that there is a threat from this nation, so they were going proactively attacking these countries. But the Palestinians, they started to revolt and rebel inside. So what happened? Intifada movement started. 87 to 93, that means in the Rahu Antardasha. When the Rahu Antardasha started, whole security paradigm changes. Whenever the Rahu Antardasha or Mahadasha will come for Israel, it will transform it because it is in 8th Lord. In Hinduism, 8th house is house of Mrityu or death. But the people who follow other religion, they think death is finality. In Hinduism, it is transformation. So whenever the 8th house or 8th house lord, that is Mars or Rahu, Antardasha or Mahadasha will come, Israel will transform aggressively. That is a repetitive pattern you will see in Israel's horoscope. Rahu Antardasha started and Intifada movement started. The revolution started in their occupied land. Venus Mahadasha is largely one-sided affair. Whatever Israel wanted to do, go out and attack people, Munich massacre happened, the people who committed those atrocities, Israel went and found them, started searching for them. Israel did a lot of stuff outside their country and was able to achieve their goals. After Venus, you have got Sun Mahadasha. Sun Mahadasha, Israel became little lenient. Because Sun is sitting in Taurus sign and that too in ninth house, it became little lenient and relaxed, you can say. Where he felt like king, he felt that he can dominate the region. So they started to be more lenient, magnanimous. Sun does that. When Sun Mahadasha is happening and you are in totally in control, a person want to be benevolent or somebody who gives grants to the people like a king. So they left, withdrew from the South Lebanon. They were more concerned or considerate towards the people. Looking at the chart from 2000 to 2006, when the Sun Mahadasha was happening, Israel was not trying to attack people because now it is Sun. They were trying to act like a ruler. They were trying to act like a master of the area. But in 2006, as soon as the Sun Mahadasha ended and the Moon Mahadasha started, the nature of Israel became aggressive again. Why it became aggressive? Because Moon is sitting with Saturn. It's a wish yoga and it is sitting in 11th house. That means what? Wish fulfillment, but a poisonous yoga where they again started attacking people, attacking, going outside their land and attacking. That is what started. They went to Syria, destroyed their nuclear reactor. Gaza war, Operation Cast Lead, large military operation against Hamas. Israel became global cyber security hub. They started spying on people. Moon and Saturn sitting in 11th house, they thought they were invincible. Iron Dome was installed in 2011. 2011 is the Moon Saturn. That is, both the planets are sitting in 11th house. So what happened? With the installation of Iron Dome, feeling of invincibility came in. And that is how they started behaving for the next few years. They won Nobel Peace Prize also in that year. So that obviously gave the confidence. Because none of the neighboring countries were known for their scientific achievements. So all the GCC countries, see, you have to look at the psychology of the neighboring countries also. The enemies are not able to do much in a direct fight. So the plan of the enemy went underground. They started to do solo attacks or the the opponents of the Israel, they started to do more of a terror attacks because they know they can't fight with Israel now. Head to head fight, they will lose. So the terror became the policy. Iran and a lot of GCC countries, they started funding the Hamas, Hezbollah, and all other terror groups. And Israel started a policy of moving the lawn. They know they are surrounded by enemies. They know they if they stop fighting, they will be eaten alive. So moving the lawn is the policy which Israel has been following since long. Every year they move, their forces move out and they will destroy, bomb, kill the opponents, and they will make sure that the opposing forces, they cannot eliminate everybody, but the opposing forces are leaderless. That is the moving the lawn policy which Israel has been consistently following for the last 20-30 years. After Moon Mahadasha, which gave them a lot of scientific successes and a lot of confidence and a lot of money also at that time, Mars Mahadasha was supposed to start. Mars Mahadasha, Mars is in 12th house. It is not good. But the 8th Lord placed in 12th house, that means Viprit Raj Yoga kind of thing, where there will be debacles, and from the debacles there will be a new transformation which will give you some sort of victory. That is what happens in the Viprit Raj Yoga. So when the Mars Mahadasha started, Israel was getting isolated by all the GCC countries. And suddenly in US there was a presidential change and the Trump arrived on the screen. Trump's first term was very beneficial for Israel. He recognized Jerusalem as the Israel's capital. Every Muslim country, GCC country, opposed that move. But Trump went ahead and moved its embassy to Jerusalem. Then in 2020, Trump announced an Abraham Accord, which UAE, Bahrain, later Morocco and Sudan, they signed. So Trump was totally supporting Israel and making sure they accept Israel. So what happened? This made everybody around all the Muslim nations little uncomfortable. This is happening in Mars Mahadasha. Mars is in 12th in Pap Kartari Yoga, and Mars is also 8th Lord. So there was going to be a huge transformation happening. So what happened? Iran started to mobilize its forces, all the Hezbollahs and the Hamas and the Soleimani's Iraq militia, all that started getting activated against the US as well as against the Israel. They had already planted it for 20-30 years. They were already planting these people, and there was a whole network of militia from Iran to Syria, Lebanon, and the Jordan, and all these places where the militia was surrounding Israel. But they started getting more aggressively activated because Trump came out aggressively in support of Israel. So Mars in 12th house. What happens in 12th house? Lot of things are hidden, or lot of things you are not able to understand. It is language of the cosmos which is happening. So whenever the 12th house gets activated, there is lot of unknown, unpredictable events which keeps on happening around you in anybody's horoscope, and that causes lot of confusion. So though Trump was fully in support of Israel and he was supporting them and he was helping them out, but there was language of the cosmos was changing its direction. Trump even went down to the extent where he killed Soleimani, who was Iran's main guy in that region, who was handling all these proxy forces. This all was going to create a opposite reaction. For every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. And as the Mars Dasha progresses, they were, and we have seen in Moon Dasha and right from the Venus Mahadasha, ki Israel was the dominant power in the region. And that domination was being challenged by Iran and its proxies. But when the Trump went totally in support of Israel and moved the embassy and the Abraham Accord was signed, we will see the Iran becoming more aggressive with its actions. This all the things suddenly changed because of the corona. There was a pause in all this activity because corona stopped the world. And just after the corona pandemic subsided, there was election in US and Trump was gone. Now it was Biden. The whole policy of supporting Israel 100% changed. So now what happened? Ki because of the Obama era, when the Obama was the president, Israel, though it was doing good scientifically and militarily, there was no support from Obama or US of that time. So Israel has started planning how to survive in this neighborhood with or without US support. But now Trump gone, Biden in, again the Obama time policies were back. They started to feeling cornered. Again, and Obama time policies means what? Saudis were sidelined and Iran was supported. So what happened? Israel was getting cornered or sort, and Iran thought, or Hezbollah's thought, that is an opportunity. And at the fag end of the Mars and the Rahu Dasha, which was going to start, or which started in 2022 end, 23 7 October, beginning of Rahu Mahadasha, 7 October 23 attack of Hamas on Israel happened, where more than 1,000 people were killed. It is the beginning of Rahu Mahadasha. Rahu is sitting in 8th house. Violent jerk, violently shaken the Israel and the world, and Israel reacted equally violently after that. Here is Rahu. Rahu is sitting in 8th house in the sign of Mars. Mars is in Pap Kartiri Yoga to ascendant. Ascendant is in 9th house. So Pap Kartari Yoga got activated, 8th house got activated, it was created death and mayhem, and it was going to transform. So Israel, who was experiencing a domination of the land or domination of the region since Venus Mahadasha, was shaken. The kind of attack which happened on 7th of October 2023 and was celebrated in Iran, Qatar, or all other places where the Hamas, Hezbollah, they were staying, suddenly shook its dominance. The domination which Israel was having for 30 years was shaken. Transformation has to happen. And they reacted very violently. They destroyed the whole of Gaza and they were going to go ahead. So in Rahu Dasha, what we are seeing is 8th house and Mars and the 12th house, everything is active. And right from the Gaza, slowly, Israel is attacking and moving ahead through all the networks of Iran. Right now, as we are recording this video, they are already bombing Iran. There is a talk of some truce also happening, but directly Israel is bombing Iran, the source of all this network of Hezbollah and Hamas. And this started at the beginning of Rahu Madasha. Rahu is a very violent planet as it is. Wherever it is placed, it will create a turmoil. Over here in Israel's horoscope, it is in 8th house. So severe and big transformations are going to happen. We will see till 2033 to 34 a huge changeover in Israel and its policies towards the world happening. Violence will continue. As I told you, Pap Kartari Yoga is there. So they will be continuously under pressure because of the Saturn and the Moon combination and Pap Kartari Yoga to the ascendant. And right now, Rahu Mahadasha is going on. So till 1941, they will be continuously in a violent turmoil. And the main year to watch is August 2033 to 2034. That is a year where huge amount of transformation will happen. I see their domination again coming back to the whole region in this time. That is, when we look at the Iran war episode, in Iran war episode, I told you कि Iran will go through a transformation, a long, slow, painful, murderous transformation till 2030-31. 30 to 33, we will see a new regime. So that new regime may be, or I can correlate over here in Israel chart also. So 31, 32, 33, 34. Iran is going to go through major regime change or major psychological change at that time. And the same time, even Israel will go through major change. But their war or their whole transformation or aggression will not finish till 2041. I don't know. Once Iran is finished, whom they will be attacking. Right now, they are attacking Lebanon and Syria. Is this supposed to be next? And I don't have Turkish chart, but what I understand from geopolitics, I think they will be going for Turkey after Iran regime change happens. Turkey or Pakistan, but Israel will be attacking one of these countries after regime change in Iran in 2031 to 34. There will be a huge setback to Israel in year 2040, 41, 42 and 43. 40, 41 definitely, and in 42, 43 there will be a chaos in Israel, a whole new dimension. Most probably what I see is that people would like to have more peaceful government, a government which looks for peace, not wars, and they, because the Jupiter Mahadasha will be starting. So people will select somebody who will advocate peace, calmness for the country. But it will be short lasting because, as I told you, there is a Pap Kartari Yoga in the to the ascendant. So there will be new wars happening, but there will be a relatively smaller chunk of times where in Jupiter Mahadasha they will experience some peace, more of a collaborative living. But for that, first they will have to go through a huge setback 2040, 41, 42, 43. These 4 years are very critical and very dangerous for Israel. They will recover after that. Jupiter Mahadasha, as Jupiter is retrograde and sitting in Sagittarius, Sagittarius is again a hot sign. And Papkartar Yoga to ascendant, I do not see total stoppage of attacks on the Israel. But what I see is that Israel will try to be more fatherly, more calmer towards the opposing forces. That is only till Jupiter Mahadasha. As soon as the Saturn Mahadasha starts, again the attacks, again wars will take a new shape, new dimension. Iran's Islamic regime may finish. Any other country which is opposing them may finish. But there will be new opposing force. So these wars and these fights are going to continue for a long time. I hope Israel finds peace. In next episode, we will try to see USA horoscope and how it is going to progress over the years. Will this war with Iran changes anything in USA? What will happen after the Trump and how things will progress for US? See you in the next episode.
Whoa, steady now. I can balance this. Almost got it.